Hey guys, Stars and Stripes RC with you here. Um, with the Phoenix Models Sbach 342. This is a 1.20 GPEP or 1/4 and a half scale ARF. I've had a couple of Phoenix Models planes in the past, and I'm getting back into the ARF models again. I'm seriously going to need more room. Hopefully, my wife will let me store some stuff in all the bedrooms. But so this one calls for a rimfire 120. Okay, so I emailed my friends at Altitude Hobby for their recommendation, and they recommended a 220 kV motor, which I should have known was too big. That's actually translates from what I'm seeing online as a 32cc motor, and this needs more like a 22 size. So I went back to my other friends at Badass Motors, and while they, well, first of all, I saw on a review where a guy was using a 450 kV motor. I couldn't find a 450, so I went to Badass and found a 440 kV. Now I can fly that on 6-cell, 8-cell, or 12-cell, and still swing a 16.8 or 17.8, 17.7 prop. So I'm hoping that'll work out for me. But in the box here, so what you get is obviously your instruction manual. Then they actually send in a little pamphlet of new items or new models, and just glancing through here, man, they got some damn nice looking planes, from warbirds to 3D planes, man. Just beautiful stuff. So I'm going to be looking at that. And then you get your pill and stick decals for it. Now, on these ARF models where you have the covering on this stuff, it's hard to really put decals on it right away, because over the next few days, I suspect that the covering on it, whether it's ultra coat or whatever, is going to shrink. I mean, not shrink, but it's going to get wrinkles in it. And so you don't want to apply the decals right away. I'll wait a few days and let that work itself out. I'll iron them out, keep them out, and then in a few days I'll put the decals on it. But it's going to take a good week or two to get this thing going anyway. But this is different than the old Phoenix Models Sbach, being that it doesn't have the curves on the wings. It's flat because you get side force generators. So that'll be interesting to see an Sbach with side force generators on it. I think it'll be cool. I like it. So the side force generators come black. Obviously, you're going to have to punch the holes through the covering and then you get these little bolts. I assume that's what you bolt the side force generators on to the outer edge of the wings. I haven't gone into the instruction manual. This is a 65.5-inch wingspan. So the Raven here, as you can see, is a 63-inch wingspan. And the Big Edge, that's a 75-inch wingspan. So this is going to be 10 inches less of a wingspan than the big edge. So it's going to be a pretty big plane. That's why I say I'm seriously either going to need more room, or I'm going to have to sell some stuff, which is always a possibility. Sorry for the noise here, guys. The tape on this, I'll try to cut it instead of rip it off so it's not so noisy. But everything comes individually packaged, which is nice. I think they could use a little more packaging on the inside of the box, because things from the look of it can get thrown around in there. This plane does not use CA style hinges. As you can see on the rudder here, it has the nylon pin hinges here. They seem kind of stiff, so they'll have to be worked in. And all those are epoxied in when you're assembling this model. So that's the rudder. And right now, like I said, the covering seems really tight, but as that wood in there dries, over time, it's going to develop wrinkles. And if you know me, I hate wrinkles in this type of plane. So every little wrinkle I see, I get my iron out and I get that wrinkle out of there. It just looks so much better. This is an ARF. So my wife asked me if this was not foam, and it's not. It's made out of, and you'll see once I get the fuselage out, it's made of balsa and plywood, and then it's covered with this. I'm not sure if they use ultra coat or monocoat or what they use. I'd have to look. And so they put this covering on it and apply it with an iron, so it heats that up and it sticks it to the wood, basically. No, you'd be surprised how light these are, actually. If I can, I don't know if I can get really. The flying weight on this, I don't know what it translates into. Obviously, everybody does grams. 4,400 to 4,600 grams. So, since my phone is in use, I can't Google that to see what it comes out in pounds. So here you have the elevator, and you can see the size of it, of just the elevator. And again, they come pre-hinged, but not epoxied in. So I got to do all that. Okay. But really nice. This is your traditional Sbach. In other words, your traditional Sbach comes with the white, red, and black colors on it. I did notice that Phoenix Models has a really beautiful Sbach that's blue, has blue and white and everything on it. I wish the heck those guys would email me back. I've emailed Phoenix Models like 4 times to ask them about that particular model and never got a response. I even have those guys on my Facebook as friends, and I messaged them direct and still no response. So I don't know what's going on there, but I would have really liked to have that beautiful blue one. Okay, you're going to be looking at the first wing panel, all black on the bottom. Got the white black trim with the black and red lightning bolt on top. Again, your hinges are installed but not epoxied in, and on the wings it looks like you got 5 hinges for the wing. So that's one wing panel, guys, so you can imagine the size of this plane. Now, something I did note here is the ends of this right here or have a layer of carbon fiber on it, which is really, really nice. That carbon fiber, guys, you know what that does. It adds a lot of strength. And I think this plane actually, I'm hoping that they did that on the fuselage on the inside too. We'll see that they reinforce those things with carbon fiber, because that makes it, carbon fiber makes it lighter, and it makes it stronger, as a lot of you guys already know. I'm trying to hurry because my wife is still recovering from her surgery. So if she gives me a nod, she might have to pause and we might have to take a break. Other wing panel, same as the other one. And so I'll lay this next to this one with the estimated what the width of the fuselage will be. And you can see that that's a pretty good size plane. Another indication is the size of this wing spar. It's aluminum, it's not carbon fiber. Be nice if it was carbon fiber. But look at the size of that wing tube, guys. That is well, it's over an inch in diameter. So big wing spar. Got your control rods in here and some sleeves for those. I'm not sure. That's probably if you're going to go gas and whatnot. These are, and I'm having to open everything because it's all plastic, all in plastic. These are this basically go up against your fuselage, and then your main gear will go through that. They do require you to cut that stuff out. Be nice if they would do that for you, but it's what it is. This is your main gear. Thick aluminum. Again, carbon fiber would be nice. But I've seen videos on this and it seems to land and fly very, very nicely. Now this is just all your bags, part of your firewall here, control rods. I'm sure all your ball links and everything are in there too. It also gives you a fuel tank, your gas, and everything you need if you're doing gas as well. Never got into gas, guys. I had one gas plane in my life, and I flew it a few times, and I thought, I don't like carrying gasoline in my car and stuff. So now this is, again, actually your firewall. It comes in 3 pieces. So what you do on their models is you epoxy all these together, and that makes your firewall for the motor. And you have 2 different size standoffs here in case you need a shorter standoff versus a longer standoff for your motor. On this one here is your wheel pants. Somebody said in the new version they were 2-piece, but it looks, whoa. That one may be 2-piece since it fell. Let's see if they are. Yeah, they're 2-piece wheel pants, which is not a big deal. I'll just put a little bit of CA when I put them together, if that's what they call for. But nice big wheel pants. On here, you get another spar. I'm assuming that spar is going to be for maybe for your elevator. I'm not 100% sure on that either. You get your wing bolts in here. Interestingly enough, let's see what this is here. Get some stretchy things there. I'm not sure what that's for, guys. Sorry. But anyway, that's your wing bolts. And interestingly enough, they give you a CG tool, which is really cool. I'm going to see what they show for that, but I'm assuming you put some string or something and CG it with that tool. I was seeing in a review on this. I'm not sure. Again, guys, I'm sorry. I haven't looked at the instructions. What this little thing here is for either. I'll find out. And I'll let you know. I've seen in some of the reviews where the tail wheel on these were coming in green. But on this one, it's brushed aluminum red, which is, I'm glad. Now, you can see the thickness on this heavy-duty tail wheel assembly. Really nice, guys. Really nice. Phoenix Models has done some really good things. Like everything else, they have good and they have bad. This is a piece probably for the back of the fuselage that you epoxy in once you slide your elevator in and epoxy that in. Then this goes in and fills the gap where you cut that. I'm not sure. Oh, okay, I see why not. You got your cowl here. Really nice looking painted fiberglass cowl. And I'm curious if this is going to be held on with screws on the inside or from the outside. If I can get this off. Yeah, it looks like you're going to have to drill holes to hold that cowl on. I thought that had changed too, but I guess it hasn't. Getting into the main piece, the fuselage. Wow. I'm going to have to build me a shed or something. Or another shed. I know my wife is saying, uh-huh. Now, I'm already seeing up front, guys, where the motor mount area has that nice, beautiful carbon fiber. You can see this. All this is lined with carbon fiber, even the firewall, and as much as the end of the fuselage up front. So I'm really impressed with that. Inside, you can see, I'm sure that's not carbon fiber. It's something to simulate the look of carbon fiber inside the fuselage. Would have been nice if they added a pilot, but that's something I could do myself if I chose to try to take that canopy off, which I'm not going to do. I'm not a fan of doing that. Now, looking inside, you can see where they lined with carbon fiber, even along the sides here and up front. Look at the inside, guys. Holy cow. Beautiful. All lined with carbon fiber. Your battery tray, where your servos go, everything. And then they have carbon fiber strips going along the bottom there, I see. Where your gear, carbon fiber. I'm so impressed right now, it's not even funny. But that's a look at the inside. Plenty of room for 6, 8, or 12S to go in there. and amazing. Now, the old version, I think, operated off of a single two servos on the elevator, one on each side for each half. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this runs on one servo for both elevators, or because the elevator, you see, this is one piece. They're not separate, so they're going to be using a single servo for the elevator, which I kind of like too, because while I've set up pull systems before, I'm not a huge fan of that. All right, so again, a mad look at the Phoenix models. I got a nice latch there. The Phoenix models, 65.5-inch wingspan, Sbach 342. Thanks for watching.